Okay, let's start with MCLR. I think you may be knowing that MCLR is now getting out of dated. So, but few are still recommending this MCLR. Few banks are still dealing with MCLR, but we'll also read the next external benchmark linked lending rate. But before that, as it is not completely outdated, is not completely replaced, hence we'll look into it. Okay. The marginal cost of fund-based lending rates was introduced in 2016 to help borrowers availing various loans benefits from Reserve Bank of India's rate cut. Okay, so this marginal cost of lending rate is somewhere linked to repo rate, not completely linked. We'll read it. So, just to give benefits to the borrowers by RBI's rate cut, this MCLR was introduced in 2016, and this has replaced the base rate structure. Before MCLR, the rate that was quoted by banks was called base rate. It was there since 2010, and before that there was a benchmark prime lending rate, and before that there was a prime lending rate. Okay, so this new system ensures that your lender cannot charge you interest rates beyond the margin prescribed by you. Okay, why I'm not discussing about benchmark prime lending rate and base rate? Because these are outdated. If you will start on reading everything there on the earth, we are going to lose this exam. Though I don't encourage people to have a great knowledge about MCLR, but still you need to have some ideas, because MCLR is not completely replaced. Okay, so this is the way I want all of you to prepare for your exams. Need to skip unimportant facts, because you are preparing for a competitive exam, and a competitive exam is more of a Arjun's skill of archery. Okay, like Arjun was taught by Dronacharya just to focus on one instrument, one eye of that bird. And here in competitive exam, you also need to have a certain focus, because the syllabus is concentrated, the syllabus is definite. So if you start on reading ancillary things, then you are going to lose it. Okay, this competitive exam is a competition, and you need to perform if you are focused. So no need to read about benchmark prime lending rate and base rate, but you need to know that MCLR has replaced all of them. Okay, so this new rate system ensures that your lender cannot charge you interest rates beyond the margin prescribed by Reserve Bank of India. MCLR is the minimum interest rate that a bank can lend at. Under the MCLR regime, banks are free to offer all categories of loan on fixed or floating rate of interest. The actual lending rates for loans of different categories and tenors are determined by adding the components of spread to MCLR. Once this MCLR is defined, banks are free to add a spread. Spread is the profit. Spread is the margin, the difference between the MCLR and the rate at which bank lends to the customer. That is called the spread. Okay, the spread is the profit of the bank. Okay. So how this MCLR is calculated? The MCLR is a tenor linked internal benchmark. Tenor linked means it is linked to the tenure of the loan, and it is an internal benchmark, which means that the rate is determined internally by bank depending upon the period left for the repayment of a loan. So there are four major elements of MCLR, that is tenor premium, marginal cost of funds, negative carry on CRR, and operating cost. Are you clear till now or not? Are you clear till now or not? Is there any doubt? It is decided internally. To decide this MCLR, banks need to consider four major things. Okay, tenor premium, marginal cost of funds, negative carry on CRR, and operating cost. Okay, so let's see each of these components. What is tenor premium? The premium charged by the banks for the risk associated with lending for higher tenures. If a loan is lent for a higher period of time, the risk is higher. Why so? Because If you are lending for more than 1 year, more than 2 years, or for longer period of time, the uncertainty is more. Okay, you cannot predict a situation beyond 1 year. Okay, nobody predicted that this COVID-19 will kill the world's economy a year back. Okay, so that's why the tenor premium for higher amount, higher length of lengthy loans is always high. Tenor is the amount of time left for the repayment of a loan. What is a tenor on a loan? It is the amount, the period left for the repayment. Higher the duration of the loan, higher will be the risk. Getting it? In order to cover the risk, the bank will shift the load to the borrowers by charging an amount in the form of premium. So what banks do, they effectively uh, charge a premium to the customer for taking loans for a higher tenor. Okay, so that will discourage people taking loans for a high period of time. Okay, tenor premium is not specific to a loan class or borrower, but it is uniform across all type of loans. Okay, so tenor premium is not specific to a individual, to a particular class of loan, particular type of borrower. It is uniform, and in every loan, the higher the period, the tenor premium is also the higher. So in MCLR, what will be added on repo rate? Normally they add tenor premium to repo rate. Repo rate is the rate on which banks lend money. Banks take loan from Reserve Bank of India, and to on that money, banks go on lending people. So what they will do, they will add tenor premium. That is the risk associated with the repayment period. Getting it? Are you getting it, guys? Is it okay? Are you clear about tenor premium? Let's move to marginal cost of funds. It is calculated by taking into account all the borrowings of a bank. Banks borrow money from various sources, that is FD, RD, savings deposit, current accounts, equity, retained earnings, RBI loans, etc. So they have to calculate the cost of funds. Okay, where is the cost of funds is lower? Normally, which is the cheap source of funds for the banks? What is the cheapest way to have the funds being funds sourced for banks? Which one is the cheapest form of CASA deposit? Yes, and in CASA, current account is the cheapest form. Okay. The rate of interest of these borrowings used for the calculation of MCF, marginal cost of funds. MCF includes marginal cost of borrowings and return on net worth. Okay, they have a net worth. Every bank has a particular net worth. Okay, or a retained earning. On that, they are going to get some interest, because banks offer 0% interest rate in current accounts. Okay, banks offer 0% interest rate in current account. If they would have borrowed that much of money, that money which have whatever is deposited in CA, if they would have borrowed that money from market, they would have given a 10% of interest rate. But in the money deposited in current account, banks pay nothing. That means if they will borrow that money taking from current account deposits, they will get complete net interest income of 10%. Getting it? In bank, net interest income is something that enhances bank's profitability. Okay, marginal cost of fundings, cost of borrowings contributes 92%, while return on net worth is accounted as 8%. Okay, this 8% is equivalent to the risk weighted assets as denoted by tier 1 capital of the banks. Okay, so in marginal cost of funds, there are two things: marginal cost of borrowings, marginal cost of the bank's borrowings, plus the interest rate the returns bank have received from its net worth. So 92% will be contributed by this marginal cost of borrowing, and rest 8% will be from the return on net worth. Okay, can I move to the next slide? Can I move to the next component of MCLR? May I move to the next component? Are you clear up to this? Are you clear up to this? Whatever slides I cover, I expect my students not to revisit all these classes, all these components again in their banking career. If they have doubts, they have these PDFs with them. I expect you to read it once this class is over. Just spend 5 or 10 minutes going across these slides, so that you will have a sense what you have read. And so you always understand the photographic memories are more concrete memories. Whatever you listen is important, but the photographic memory is going to last forever. That's why I am here to make slides. I make slides with easier words, with less complicated form, so that it will remain with you in your eyes, in your memory forever. Okay, so that's why I expect you, after the class, within 24 hours, you have to revisit all these PDFs, all these slides again. Okay, so this photographic memory is going to work with you forever. So the CRR, negative carry on CRR, that is cash reserve ratio, is a portion of banks' funds that banks keep in India, supposed to be submitted by Reserve Bank of India in form of liquid cash mandatorily. Okay, so it is accounted for negatively, as this money cannot be lent and bank get no interest income out of these funds deposited in Reserve Bank of India. So under MCLR, banks are given certain allowances for that, called negative carry and CRR, which is calculated as under. To calculate what is negative carry and CRR, you need to have this formula remembered. That is required CRR into marginal cost divided by 1 minus CRR, the complete CRR whatever bank is maintaining. Okay. So this negative carry is why this negative carry in CRR is calculated. It is calculated only because in that amount bank is not going to get any interest income, because bank is a professional organization, bank is a commercial organization, and banks to perform, to serve people effectively, to provide deposits, to interest on deposits in time to the borrower, to the depositors, banks needs to earn profit. Okay, if banks are not earning profits, or someone or some organization or some individual is becoming making hindrances in terms of the in the way of banks profitability, then they are making criminal offenses, because many people in India live in the money on the interest on in their deposits. Okay, so banks need to make profit. Though banks in India perform more on basis of social welfare measures, they work more on government schemes, but they are not charitable organizations. To serve the borrower, the depositors effectively, they need to earn profit. Okay, even in these government sponsored schemes, bank don't work for free. They earn an agent fee. For that, they work as an agent to the bank, and they earn a commission for that. Okay, are you getting it? Why it is required banks to earn profit? Why it is important that banks should have an effective measures, should have an effective way of business to earn profit. Okay, bank is a for profit organization, it is not a non for profit organization, and bankers and banks needs to make profitable decisions that are directly increase the profitability of the bank. Banks incur various expenses, and lastly the operating cost, because banks incur various expenses for raising funds, opening branches, paying salaries, and so on. All operating costs associated with providing loan products are included in operating costs. However, cost of providing services which are recovered by way of service charges are not included here. When you are getting a service charge of few services, that will not be calculated, but you in MCLR you also add the operating cost you have incurred in a year. Okay, so I think you all are clear about MCLR. Are you all clear about MCLR? There are 4 components. Can you all revisit what are the 4 components of MCLR? First one is tenor premium. What is the second? Marginal cost of funds. Third is negative carry on CRR. Fourth one is operating cost. Okay. So now let's visit the next important segment, that is external benchmark based interest rate. Why it is important? Because it is a hot cake. It is in news and it is in use. Not in news, it is in use, and all banks are nowadays implementing this external benchmark based interest rate. Okay. An internal study group of Reserve Bank of India has recommended the move over to an external benchmark based lending rate system from MCLR. RBI made it mandatory for all to link all new floating rate personal or retail loans and floating rate loans to MSME to an external benchmark effective on 1st of October 2019. The banks are free to choose one of the several benchmarks. So MCLR was effectively an internal benchmark, internal lending rate, but this external benchmark based interest rate, which is mandated by Reserve Bank of India after 1st of October 2019, is a lending rate that is linked to various external benchmarks. Here are some list of these external benchmarks. These are the Reserve Bank of India's repo rate, which is popular and many banks follow this external benchmark. Government of India's 3-month treasury bill yield published by the Financial Benchmarks India Private Limited. You must remember which one. Okay, why is this change? I am going to tell you why this change is. I am going to tell you. I cover whichever is necessary. Okay, don't worry about it. Thanks for asking such questions. I encourage you to ask such questions. So in next slide, I will cover why. Why so, and what is the difference between MCLR and external benchmark based interest rate. I'm going to cover that also. Okay. So the Reserve Bank of India policy repo rate is first one. Second one is Government of India's 3-month treasury bill. Okay. Yes, monetary policy transmission, the use of the usefulness of RBI's rate cut, etc. Okay. Government of India's 6 months treasury bill and any other benchmark interest rate that is published by FBIL. What is FBIL? That is Financial Benchmark India Private Limited. What it does, it publishes various rates linked to external benchmarks. Okay, so banks can refer to all these 4 instruments: RBI repo rate, 3 months, 6 months treasury bill, or any other benchmarks that is released by FBIL. Okay, so banks are free to offer such external benchmark linked loans to other types of borrowers as well. Apart from the loans we have said earlier, banks can also extend this facility to other borrowers as well, and it completely depends upon the bank. For transparency, this is why this FBBIR is implemented. Okay, for transparency, standardization, and ease of understanding of loan products by borrowers, a bank must adopt a uniform external benchmark within a loan category, and in other words, the adoption of multiple benchmarks by the same bank is not allowed within a loan category. So bank in a particular loan category cannot add various benchmarks like for home loans. For one type of home loan, they will implement a repo linked rate, and for others they will add this treasury bill linked rate. That is not going to be encouraged, and that cannot happen. Okay, banks are free to decide spread over external benchmarks. However, credit risk premium may undergo change only when borrower's credit assessment undergoes a substantial change as agreed upon in the loan contract. Further, other components of spread, including operating cost, could be altered once in 3 years. Okay. So the interest rate under external benchmarks shall be reset at least once in 3 months, because these external rates change in every 3 months. If there are other instruments like treasury bills of 6 months, they may change in 6 months, but repo rate, etc., and treasury bills of 90 days change once in every 3 months. So this is going to be changed once this is going to be reset once in every 3 months. Existing loans credit limits linked to MCLR base rate BPLR shall continue till repayment or renewal, as the case may be. If some loan is going on earlier linked rates, then they may continue to do so. When the floating rate advances are linked to an internal benchmark rate, banks shall determine their actual lending rates by adding the components of spread to the internal benchmark rate. Interest rates on fixed rate loans or of tenor below 3 years shall not be less than the benchmark rate for similar tenor. Okay, so now the most popular repo linked lending rate, which all the banks have nowadays adopted. It is one of the external benchmark linked lending rate, and nowadays widely adopted by various banks. This is directly linked with RBI's repo rate. What is the formula? Repo rate plus margin charged by the bank. The transmission rate is faster in RLLR. As the repo rate is revised immediately, a customer is benefited out of it. Once this repo rate is revised, customer is going to get the benefit in next EMI itself. Okay, as it is linked to repo rate, hence it is revised in once in every 3 months. So the difference between RLLR versus MCLR, or you can say the difference between external benchmark linked lending rate versus MCLR. Why it was necessitated to bring an external benchmark lending rate? Let's discuss. That is just to have transparency and to provide immediate relief to borrowers if there is a certain rate cut by Reserve Bank of India. Yes, if there is rate is increased, customer may be adversely affected, but whenever there is a rate cut, customers will be benefited, which nowadays happens more often. Rate cut happens more often. Okay, so MCLR is primarily an internal benchmark of the bank, as its own cost of funds will be determined by the MCLR of the bank. However, in the case of RLLR, or external benchmark linked lending rate, or repo linked lending rate, which is externally linked, the bank's own cost of funds does not have a direct impact when the repo rate goes up or comes down. So let's see the differences. Benchmark link, the benchmark linked rate, internal benchmark MCLR is internal one, whereas RLLR is external. It is linked to RBI repo rate. In place of RLLR, you can use the external benchmark. Reset period, it is for 6 to 12 months in MCLR, depending upon the bank, whereas in RLLR, it must be reset in every 3 months. Transmission rate is relatively slower, and there is a faster transmission in RLLR. Okay, in MCLR, if there is a rate cut, the benefits were extended to customer in next 2-3 months, whereas in RLLR, the transmission rate is faster. Whenever there is a rate cut, immediately customers are benefited. Many times in MCLR, it is felt that even if RBI was cutting the rates, banks were not extending the benefits to the customers, to the borrowers. They were waiting for a period of 6 months, then they were implementing the benefit. Okay, so for that period of time, banks were getting the profits out of it, and customers were not getting the direct profit. So this the necessity was felt that there should be a repo rate, because when there is a repo rate, there is a reduction in repo rate, suddenly the news flashes that your EMI is just going to is set to come down, but people were not getting the benefit. Nowhere the rate of interest in loans were coming down. Once individual bank decides, then only it was coming down. Otherwise, it remains unaffected. Okay, are you getting it? I think we have successfully covered another class in credit management, and also few topics, that is all these topics are also required to be known to risk managers in professional knowledge part, and this large exposure framework is really important for risk managers as well, and also for others. It is, these are important professional knowledge you need to have a eye on. Okay, so is there anything you, sir, your professional knowledge sessions are very interesting. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't think it is interesting, but I think it is useful. I don't, yeah, thank you. I don't add because banking. See, banking is a very monotonous study. Very monotonous study. Yes, yes. See, banking is a very monotonous study. You cannot add any spice to it. You cannot have other examples because you need, because banking, once they say that as a banker you need to be thorough professional, then you have to be in a certain framework. You very monotonous, banking itself a very monotonous job, and it's a very highly regulated business in India. So but you need to add some sense to it, you need to add some values to it. Okay, so this is it. Thank you friends for joining me in. We'll meet in next class tomorrow. Thank you.